and welcome to our submaximal graded exercise test. Today we'll be doing a YMCA bike test on our participant. We have obtained informed consent, did a pre-screening to make sure our participant is nice and healthy, and now we're going to explain the testing procedures. So to do a submaximal test, it means that we're going to take our participant not till maximal exertion. We're going to stop at 85% of their heart rate max as determined by the equation 220 minus the age of the participant. For this YMCA bike test, it'll involve stages that last 3 minutes long, and based on the participant's heart rate response, we will adjust the workload or the resistance of the bike to say in order to move from one stage to the next. So stage 1 incorporates a pedal rate of 50 RPM, so rotations per minute, and it'll be set at a wattage of 25 watts. Based on the heart rate response of stage 1, we will increase the wattage to stage 2 by a varied amount, and we will go over that as the test proceeds. In order to make sure that the heart rate monitor gets the most accurate readings, we need to wet the monitor before placing it on the participant. So what that means is that you just run a gentle stream of water, take a couple fingers and just rub some water against this plastic part of the heart rate monitor strap. There we go. Afterwards, you put the puck right on it, and the clicking sound basically means that now it is on. So now we have our heart rate monitor nice and wet. We're going to put it where the xiphoid process is at the bottom of the sternum. So Stephanie, can you lift up your shirt a little bit so that we can access your sternum? We're going to put the puck right in the middle. A little bear hug. Wrap it around and then make sure that the strap connects in. There you go. Make sure that the strap remains up. And that is, oops, sorry about that. There we go. Now that we have the strap on our participant, we need to make sure that the watch is able to read the heart rate. So you just hold the button here, hold it close to the sternum. There's going to be a little flashing heart icon, and you see that the reading is 85 beats per minute. Before we get Stephanie set up for the test, we have to make sure we know what is her 85% heart rate max, so that we have that as our target indicator for the submaximal test. So how we figure that out is that we use the standard formula of 220 minus the age of the participant, and that gives us our heart rate max. So the max heart rate we can achieve. So since Stephanie is 30 years old, so 220 minus 30 is going to be 190 beats per minute. So from there, you do 190. Since the submaximal test, we're aiming for 85% heart rate max. You multiply your max heart rate value by 0.85. Because remember, percentages are also decimals once you convert them over. You do the math, that gives you 161.5 beats per minute. Since we don't really measure half a beats per minute, always round down. So rounding down will leave her 85% heart rate max to be 161 beats per minute.
So now I will be taking Stephanie's heart rate and resting blood pressure. We take these resting measures as baseline to compare to the exercise response of blood pressure and heart rate. So first I'll start off by taking her resting blood pressure. Place your arm here. now I will uncuff her and get a heart rate measurement. And her resting heart rate is 71 beats per minute.
All right, so we have our participant Stephanie here. And like we said, she filled out an informed consent, so she gives us permission to run an exercise test on her. And we did a pre-health screening just to make sure that she is healthy to do this test. So Stephanie, first we're going to make sure that we have a heart rate monitor strapped onto you so that we can take accurate heart rate readings during the last 15 seconds of each stage. We will also be taking a resting blood pressure reading as well as additional blood pressure readings during the last minute of each stage just to monitor your cardiovascular response to exercise. All right, before we get started, Stephanie, do you have any questions about the test?
So can I go as fast as I want? Because I'm kind of fit, so I can push it.
Great question. So during this test, we need to keep a constant pedal rate of 50 rotations per minute. So unfortunately, if you feel like you can go faster, please remain within that 50 rotations per minute mark. This is a submaximal test, so we're not trying to work you hard. We're just trying to obtain submaximal data to estimate your maximal exertion.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, now we're going to get started with our test. We have our crew here, we have a recorder, we have blood pressure and heart rate monitor taker, and we have a cheerleader right over here. So Stephanie, are you ready to get started?
Yes.
All right, so let's get pedaling. Remember, 50 RPMs is what we're aiming for. And we want to make sure that the wattage is at 25 watts, which it is. Right there. So within this bike, we have a color system that will let us know the RPMs. Yellow and on either side is too low and too high, and then we have a green bar in the middle where a 50 and a 120 mark is. So Stephanie's going to stay around the 50 to replicate the 50 rotations per minute. So after stage 1, Stephanie's blood pressure was 100 over 62 and her steady state heart rate was 85. So since at the end of stage 1, her heart rate is between 80 and 89 beats per minute, we increased the wattage of the resistance to 100 watts. So now she will pedal still at the 50 rotations per minute with 100 watts of resistance for the next 3 minutes. We'll assess heart rate and blood pressure thereafter, and we will move on to the next stage.
You trade your passion for glory. Don't lose your grip on the dreams of the past. You must fight just to keep them alive. It's the deep eye of the tiger. It's the thrill of the fight. Rising up to the challenge of our rival. And the last lone survivors don't see spreading the night. And these words in us always the eye of the tiger.
Stephanie's steady state heart rate was 137 beats per minute. Her blood pressure was 140 over 70. So moving on to stage 3, we increased the wattage by 25 watts. So now she's pedaling against the resistance of 125 watts at a pedal rate of 50 rotations per minute.
And it's burning.
Face to face, out in the heat, hanging tough, staying hungry. Let's stack the odds till we take to the street.
So remember, based off of Stephanie's age and 85% of her heart rate, we're trying to get her heart rate to be 161. If during the test her heart rate surpasses 161 beats per minute, we stop the test since we're only going to 85% maximal. This is a sub-maximal test.
Deep eye of the tiger, thrill of the fight, rising up to the challenge of our rival. And the last known survivors must explain tonight. I feel what you not know is the eye of the tiger.
Over 80.
So at the end of stage 3, Stephanie's heart rate was 159. Since her 85% age predicted max is 161, we're going to terminate the test and not go on to stage 4. Since we know with the increase in workload, her heart rate is going to increase. Therefore, we're going to move the wattage down to 0 and have Stephanie pedal for about 2 to 3 minutes with no resistance as a cool down protocol. Awesome job, Steph. How did that feel?
It was kind of hard, actually. I didn't want to go any faster.
After about 2 minutes of her cooling down, we're going to be taking another blood pressure and heart rate reading just to make sure she has a nice response to the recovery protocol.
So after Stephanie has went through a cool down for about 2 minutes on the bike, I moved her over to this chair where I will be taking another blood pressure reading and monitor her heart rate.